everybody. My name is Bethany Frill. I'm the author of Vertical Athlete, Fundamentals of Training for Pole Fitness and Dance. When I was at the Pole Expo a while back, one of the questions I asked everyone was, what is the thing that connects muscle to bone? And I was actually really pleased. I got the correct answer right away. The answer is tendons. So tendons are actually a big source of injury in really intense sports like pole, where overtraining is a problem if a person is not pacing themselves correctly. That's because tendons undergo a lot of stress and they tend to recover a little bit more slowly than the muscles because there's not a whole lot of blood that is routed to the tendon itself. So quickly, how muscles work. Muscles are always pulling. They never push. So even if you're pushing a door, your muscles are actually always pulling to create that push. So for instance, if we look at an arm, this muscle here, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is the bicep brachii. And in order for me to move my arm and my hand up like this, how I do that is my bicep, this muscle here, pulls on my arm, and as it pulls, it shortens and pulls my arm up. So the bicep itself is not connected to the bone down here, but rather it's connected to a tendon, which is, it's got more collagen in it, and it's more sturdy, but then it's less flexible and easily, not easily, but easier to damage. So the muscle shortens, pulls on the tendon, which pulls on the bone, which pulls my arm to me. So as far as overtraining injuries with tendons, man, there is a ton that can be talked about. In pole, a lot of it's shoulder issues, and me particularly, I've experienced tendonitis, which is an inflammation of the tendon caused by overtraining or a traumatic meaning something very abrupt. So tendonitis of the elbow. So we have golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. I have struggled with tennis elbow, which is also called lateral epicondylitis. And what happens in tennis elbow is there's an inflammation where the tendon meets the lateral epicondyle of the elbow. We have tendons that come up into our hands, come along our forearm and wrap around to the lateral epicondyle of the elbow, and those are extensor muscles and tendons, so they allow us to extend our wrists and fingers. So we get a lot of that when we're doing full bracket type stuff with the pull, where we're pushing and extending our wrist. Now, a lot of people, including myself, have been like, oh my gosh, I feel like my arm is maybe broken or something. There's a severe pain right there. That's because there's an attachment, a tendon attachment there. And then the irritation will move up to your lateral epicondyle of your elbow. So that's the outside of the elbow if you have your elbow straight to your side. One way to, well, the only way really to deal with this is rest. If you continue to pull and you have tendonitis, it's only going to get worse because, I mean, you're stressing your tendon and your tendons don't heal under stress. There are a few exercises that are great to not only help heal tendonitis, but enable you to avoid it altogether. In pole, we have a lot of motion where we're grabbing, so we don't condition those extensors so much, so we get an imbalance, and then we develop lateral epicondylitis. So one thing I like to do is wrist curls and extensors. So we're working that forearm, and then in order to work our extensors, we can take a weight and extend and back down Or we can just, lift it up with our hand and use eccentric contraction. So our muscle is slowly letting go as we curl down. And if your tennis elbow is particularly inflamed, you can get things like these TheraBands. They're just rubber bands, and these allow you to only do eccentric contraction. So we curl here, and as we slowly let go, that conditions that muscle and tendon that extends our wrist and enables us to get a balance, a physiological balance between the muscles that curl our wrist and the muscles that extend our wrist. So that being said, there's really, like I said, only one way to heal tendonitis once it gets to a certain point, and that's total rest. So if you want to avoid not being able to pull for a long time, make sure you stay in tune with your body. And if you feel a tweak, it could be a muscle imbalance, like you're not getting enough wrist extension, or maybe you're just doing too much.